Welcome to the Ultimate Landscape CEO. Our guest today is Matthew Woolley, Woolley Outdoors, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Matthew has only been in business 4 years, 4.5 years. You're going to hear his whole story. He's already grown to 4 million. This guy is just full of ambition, willingness to learn, just soaking it all up, asking all the right questions, and will work 100 hours a week to make it happen. He's got a young bride, a family, really grabbing life by its tail, so to speak. Matthew's a new member of one of our peer groups, and it was just great to have somebody with such energy and achievement early on in life in our group. He learned from us. Other people got inspired by him. So on this podcast, we talk about his journey and already his forward-thinking planning that he's doing. So if you're young or small, you'll get inspired by him. If you're older and, hey, you think you've got things figured out, you'll get inspired by Matthew. Just a great guy, and I hope you really enjoy this podcast. Matthew, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Jeffrey, thank you for having me on the show. My name is Matthew Woolley. I live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, here in Amish country. I'm 24 years old. I'm married. As of a year ago, I got married, and I have a landscape company here in Lancaster. We do predominantly landscaping maintenance, residential maintenance, landscaping and mowing, but we also do design build. That's about 25% of our business. I started the company in 2021, and today would be our fifth season. We do about $4 million in revenue and have about 35 to 40 people.
That's excellent. And so your company, you said, is 4 years old?
Yeah, we've been in business for like 4.5 years.
That's like $1 million per year.
Yep.
And so you're not that old. Tell us how this all started. You know what's funny, Matthew, is I ask some guys and they're like, or girls, gals, and they're like, well, they have to think back, and they're probably, making half of it up. Meaning, you kind of remember highlights.
It feels like it was years and years and years ago, but it really was only, 4.5 years ago that I started the business.
Tell us how it started.
Yeah, so it started 2021. I graduated high school here in Lancaster in 2020. So I was like COVID high school. It was like our in-person school got canceled the year I graduated. And then I went off to college in 2020. I went to a local school about an hour away and spent a semester there. And when I was in college, I kind of figured out, I had the realization after a few weeks that any job that I was going to get after I graduated college was not a job I wanted. And I wanted to start my own business. I had done side hustles and my own business for my whole life. So I ended up dropping out of college and in 2020. And then I got a job right out of college as a carpenter. Actually, I was at a local shop, like a mold shop, and I was doing carpentry work. And then I started mowing grass after work every day. So I would work carpentry from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then I would just mow every day after work. So that first year in 2021, it was not like a full-time year. It was just part-time. And then 2022 was my first full-time year. But from the start, we've been maintenance heavy, and at the end of that year of 2021 is when I went full-time in the business. But yeah, it was a really, really hard first year grind. I was doing my full-time job along with my landscaping business. I was actually like towards the midway through the season when the lights it started to get dark earlier is when I took the job and I started working the night shift actually at my actual job. I had this thought in my head that like if I go and do my own business, like I don't know, it's just so risky. So I was like, I got to keep my job. So I'd work from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning. I would just work all night. And then I would just work landscaping basically all day, like just get no sleep for a whole year until I quit my job, and then took off from there after year one.
And so, t- tell us the progression of these 4.5 years and the revenue
Yeah.
plateaus you hit or milestones.
So, yeah, in 2021, it was our first year, like full time. We did like 90,000 that year, which I felt like I was on top of the world at doing that. Like, just because it was all profit. There was no expenses, so it was all in my pocket pretty much. It was just me and two guys from high school that were helping me out just after work.
Wait, so
And then
you hadn't learned about depreciation that first year, huh?
Not really. I didn't know anything about. I didn't even know how to landscape. Really, I didn't even know how to like plant shrubs. I landscaped in high school a little bit for a couple months, but I had no concept on um, how landscape actually worked and how to do it. So we kind of figured it out as we went. So 2021 was 90,000. 22 I moved out of my parents' garage at 19, and that was our first full year in business. We did 335,000. That was two crews, so basically felt like doubled the size because I ran a crew and then I had another crew running full time. And then 2023 we scaled up and we doubled the business. We did like 650,000 in 2023, which was our second full year in business.
And you're doing all the sales still.
Yes. 2023, I was in the field. I was a foreman. I was the landscape foreman. There was one other landscape foreman, and then two mow crews. So that was four crews in 2023. And then 2024 was a big jump. It was from 650,000 to last year we ended at like 1.8 million. So
Wait,
that
you
was
went from 650 to 1.8. You're still in the
1.85.
and you're still in the field or not?
So last year, 1.8, it was like 50-50. Like I was in the field a lot, actually doing the work. Like I was loading up every single crew every single day and helped them out on a lot of jobs, did a lot of the in-person training. But that was my first year where I started to get out of the field a little bit. It was my biggest priority last year was selling jobs. I was the salesman. That's mostly all I did. And then I was doing a little bit of admin work. But even last year, we did not have any overhead staff at all. We had just myself. I even answered the phones. My wife helped me. Lindsay helped me a little bit too, but I answered the phones. I did mostly all the billing. I did all of the quotes, all of the scheduling. In 2024, last year, we were on pen and paper. So I print out all the crew sheets the night before, hand them to the guys. I mean, it felt really stressful in 2024 because it was like the maximum capacity that I could possibly sell and then do admin and everything like that, and scheduling and all that. So it was definitely a good year. It was a really good year. It was just stressful. And I knew like all throughout last year that I'm going to hit a brick wall in 2025 if I do that again. And then in 2025, like this past winter is when I made a whole bunch of my key hires, which was my operations manager I hired, and then two sales guys, an office coordinator, and then I hired two consultants actually. And then in 2025, this year we're projected to do 4 million. So we went from 1.8 million to 4 million. It's hard to say which one was a bigger jump, whether it was 1.8 to 4 or 650 to 1.8. I'm still debating that in my head.
Now you were on pen and paper last year.
Yeah.
That is just crazy. But now you're on an operating software.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could call it that. We're on Jobber. So
Okay.
It is definitely like it's not very sophisticated, but it does what we need. We're moving to Aspire at the we're going to start implementing it December 1st.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, Jobber has improved
Mm-hmm.
and grown with the times. I was just at Equip and giving talks. I gave 3 talks there, full house, and I was surprised at how many people were on Jobber. I met a I met a guy who owns a $5 million hardscape business, and he's got uh, a a car racing track
Mm-hmm.
company. I might actually rent some race cars from him and go racing with him
Yeah.
in Florida. And he had just moved uh, from Excel to Jobber like a year ago and integrated. I was like, dang, if you can run a $5 million company in Jobber, that's impressive. But the guy was, um, he was kind of like you, right? He got a lot done with his time, but I really don't know a lot of people on Jobber, and so you moved on to Jobber, and now you're moving off into Aspire.
Yeah, we use Java for all this year, and it's a great software. Like it is definitely like if I was to do it again, like picking a software last year, because when we looked at software, we looked at Java, Aspire, and LMN, and 2 or 3 others. And Aspire is like it's a mountain. Same with LMN. Like it's just way like if you're not ready for it, it's gonna. We tried to implement LMN in 2024, and it didn't work just because we had nobody really making it happen. Like you got to be
You,
committed to
you had
doing it.
nobody.
Yeah. It was just me. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I need to sell jobs. I'm not doing this stuff. So we got off that. And then I kind of just was like, you know what? We're going to do Jobber because I was like, I know I can implement that. And I had a lot of help with the people that I hired at the beginning of this year. And some of them I hired, some of them got promoted out of the field. But it was definitely having Jobber this year was completely game changing just to be able to manage the crews remotely. And it is a great software for sure. Just doesn't it's the analytics aren't there. You can't like I can't make like numbers based decisions like the way I want to with an LMN or Aspire.
Is that why you're moving off of Jobber?
100%. I mean, it's the numbers, being able to see the numbers, and make decisions off those, being able to see where we're making money. Just the visibility in how my company is doing is what I'm gonna be moving. I mean, reading a P&L is it doesn't tell you as much as the microized, like how micro Aspire element can dial into like each crew, each salesman, each division. Like it's an amazing. I'm super excited for it, but I know it's going to be hard.
Yeah. So you just got married in 24?
In 2024, yeah, October 19th. So it's been
So
just 1 year.
has your wife been along with you in this whole journey, or when did she get introduced, not to you, but to the
Mhm.
landscape industry?
Yeah, so we met in 2021, at like my first year in business, and at the time I was like, I don't have time for anything other than work. I was working easily 100 hours a week, like clocking 100 hours of labor a week easily. And so I was like, this is not, it's not gonna work, but it's like it worked. And at the time, we were a small company. When I met her, I was acting like I was a big company. I already had felt that confidence, and I knew where we were going. She started really helping the business in 2023, I'd say. Because when I met her, she lived in another state, and when she moved to PA in 2023, that's when she really got hands on. And she acts pretty much as our office manager.
So
Keep
can I give you some unrequested advice?
Yeah, I'm always looking for advice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I work with my spouse and I have a lot
Hmm.
of clients that do. My business is different than yours, and we have other people on our team. But the challenge you're going to have, I mean, It's great having a spouse that where it actually works,
Hmm.
and you don't bring the business home. The issue is as you grow is when you want to feel successful and take that long vacation, you'll struggle doing it together.
Hmm.
And so that that becomes the issue that you have to plan ahead for.
Hmm.
Is how do we enjoy the fruits of what we built together? Can we both get away together?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. And I mean, there's like, I obviously work with my wife, and I work with a ton of friends. Both relationships, both with like spouse and good friends. It's, you got to be able to manage the relationship like outside of work and work. And it's like, I mean, it is nearly impossible. It really is. Like, so it's just trying to find like a healthy balance of like not talking about work at home all the time, but like also understanding. And like the positive side about working with your spouse is like she understands what is actually going on in my life all day. So there's just like it's ebbs and flows. Like it's definitely like something you got to keep a hold of. But I like for me and Lindsay, it works really, really good, and I love it.
I'm assuming she'll be listening to this, so this is just a little planting a seed into for Lindsay
Yeah.
here. You know, as this grows, on the one hand, she may love the job and the work, and she gets her own professional satisfaction. But you got to plan ahead to, can we take a 1 or 2 week vacation together? And so just something to think about.
Yeah. Okay. She'll probably be start planning the next vacation now. Now that you said that, she did say the other day. So she said, "Wow, you're going to be traveling a lot with this new peer group that you joined." So yeah, that's good. She likes definitely to travel, so
Well,
she'll appreciate that you said that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we're going to Key West next, as you know.
I know, and she's been dying to go. So I think that she's going to come. I think that's pretty normal for the trips, is it?
Well, certainly for a destination trip, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what some of the other guys I was talking to said, so that's
And she's
good.
in the business, so why not?
Mhm.
Okay,
Right.
interesting, interesting. And then once you start having kids, you can't work 100 hours a week anymore. What's your plan to dial back? Well, how many hours a week did you work, or are you working now?
Uh, a lot. I probably work about 75, 85 hours a week. Um, so it's definitely not as much as it used to, and that's mostly by choice. I will say that, like we have the team in place now to work, certainly for me to certainly like not work nearly as much as I do. So that's like when you have that freedom, it's great. And but I mean, we're really trying to put the foot to the floor and grow really fast. So there is a abundance of tasks and projects and stuff for me to get into, and I am still very involved in the business too. Like there is still certainly an amount of things that I take care of solely, and that is being worked off my plate as we speak. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just checking in with yourself is what I say. Like checking in with yourself and with your spouse and the people that you love every day. Like you got to make sure that you're giving everything 100%. Like if you're gonna give work 100%, what I say is you got to give your life 100%. Like you can't balance, you can't not have the scales balanced. Like you're gonna need to put all that effort in to work. Like you can't just come home and just not put effort in just because you worked all the time. Like, luckily, I'm young. I got energy out the wazoo. So I'm like, oh, I can do it all. But I mean, it's just going to be a matter of over the years, I'll recalibrate and assess
Listen,
and try to take really good
Matthew, I
advice
think you
too.
can do it all. The only
Mhm.
issue happens once you start having a family is the kids will be on a very specific time frame, even if you're not. And so making sure you can fit in and support their time frame without having to sacrifice your own ambitions. That's going to be your fun, exciting
Mhm.
challenge.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a challenge and I'm up for it. So I think that it's definitely hard as a business owner to give everything 100%. Like I have 40 people at work that I need to take care of. Like I have 40 people that are relying on my company and us to produce work and us and for their families. So that's definitely a stress, but it's like without you taking care of your personal stuff, like how good are you going to be to the 40 people that need me at work every day? So that's how I view it. It's like you got to be aligned, you got to be aligned and you got to be moving all areas of your life, all of them. Or else one if one implodes, the others are going to just get so affected by it. So it's a challenge, but got to do it.
Excellent. So what are we going to end the year at?
Revenue wise, we'll be close to 4 million. I think we are going to be really really close to it. So that was the goal. That was the big audacious goal going into this year. And we're really close. So we just got to finish out the next 2 months really strong.
And after depreciation, what do you think your if you want to share publicly, or you don't have to, but uh, what do you think your net profit will be after depreciation?
Well, after depreciation, it's going to be. I mean, we this year we spent $650,000 worth of equipment. Like we are depreciating all that too. So
Well,
it's
then
like
you know what? Give me your EBITDA before depreciation. What do you think your margin will be?
so EBITDA will be at we'll probably be at like about 20% EBITDA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can do better at it as a
Yeah,
residential
for
company.
sure. There's and I will say this, like we definitely are growing top line well and it's been not easy, but with the growth this year, we definitely added a lot of we added a lot of overhead pieces and we kind of also we forced a lot of work onto a crew that probably wasn't, not ready for it, but we probably should have had more crews. We spent a lot of money on overtime this year, spent a
Yep.
lot of money on equipment, spent a lot of money on marketing. Like there was budget line items that we were thinking based off of 2024, oh, it's going to be this percentage of revenue. Blow it right out of the water. Like we just spent like tons of money on a lot of different
Yeah, I
stuff.
gotcha.
And
The
it
faster
squeezed
you
us,
spend
but
money, the more wasteful it is, right?
yeah, no doubt. So we're really trying to, for next year, like definitely try to tighten up and try to be.
That's why the government, I know I shouldn't even go down this little rabbit hole, but like when there's a disaster and FEMA comes in to spend all this money really quickly, that's why it's so inefficient. A friend of mine works for a company whose job is to, one of its jobs is to confirm all invoices handed into the government to make sure they're real and not, and that there's no hanky panky going on.
Right.
And I'm not going to go down that road, but except to say, the faster and a more emergency like that you spend money, definitely the more waste there is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that you probably have top of mind yourself, how to be more um, just more efficient with that
Right.
spending.
Right. There's no doubt. We are definitely trying to, especially as we move into the winter season, it's like we got to figure out how to be really, really tight because we do have a period where we are really slow in the winter. And we do some plowing in the winter, but it's not enough to make a ton of money unless it snows a bunch, which it usually doesn't. So we're trying to be really tight going into this winter figure out what all we need to do this winter. And we're actually moving into a new facility at the end of this year, which is also going to be a money suck. So it's like owning a business, you're just spending money all the time.
You're going to have to relook at your prices and margins that you sell at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt. We will definitely have a pretty good price increase going into next year.
And that's something you can compare with the peer group. And we have some benchmarks. They're a
Mm-hmm.
couple years old. We'll probably get them updated this winter, where you can then plug in and look how you compare to your peers there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have the financial master class, which we've just opened up the registration for. And if anybody listening, you can go to my website, jeffreyscott.biz, and then pull down events, and you'll see the financial masterclass. That's a great way to benchmark not only
Mm-hmm.
all your expenses, the P&L basically, but we do benchmarks on pricing itself and markups itself. And so really a huge array of benchmarks that you should take advantage of, and anybody listening should.
Mm-hmm. Do you run? Well, what exactly is that? Because I did see it, and I mean,
That's run by me
what
and
is it?
Mitch,
Yeah.
and Sean and Derek on our team are also speaking, and then we have some outside speakers, and we have an economist who is probably the only green industry economist I know of who will be uh, predicting what's happening in the next year. It takes place in
Mm-hmm.
January, but you have to sign up now so we can get your numbers by November. We
Mm-hmm.
don't do January, December. We do, what is it? October to or November to October.
Mm-hmm.
But we get apples to apples and everybody's numbers, so we have a good view of it. And so we'll
Right.
spend time virtually analyzing and sharing the benchmarks, which you get a physical copy of, and then we also will explain and share just other tools and techniques for managing by the numbers. Someone's coming on to speak about gamification. He
Mm-hmm.
spoke at our Summer Growth Summit. He's going to go more in depth on gamification. Uh,
Jonah.
Sean, Sean and Derek will speak about, from their consulting perspectives, all the obstacles they've seen
Mm-hmm.
in all of our client companies when it comes to managing by the numbers. So it's a master class.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like what I've found, especially in the blue collar industry, is like there's a lot of people that get into business and don't know the numbers, don't know like anything about financials. I mean, that's how I was, and I'm learning now, like thankfully, but it's definitely really common. So I mean, it's great that you guys have that to kind of go over because there's a lot of people that I'm just like, oh my, like you, it's just like, wow, there's definitely
Send
needs some
all your
education.
competitors to this
Yeah.
class so they can get their head out of the sand and manage their company
Mm-hmm.
better financially.
Right.
I'll put a
Right.
link in the show notes for anybody listening.
Okay. Sweet. Sweet.
Um, and so you just joined our peer group after our Summer Growth Summit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're probably the youngest guy in our group, I guess. The group,
By over 10 years. Yeah.
yeah, well,
I think by
yeah,
15 years, maybe.
who knows? You might be right. And I think, Matt, you're going to find that. I remember when I started off in the industry, I was ahead of my time. I was the
Mm-hmm.
youngest in any group I was in. Yeah, now I might be one of the oldest, but I started off uh, as the youngest, and you're going to be like that for years, and so that's a great way to continue your learning. But maybe share for the audience here a couple takeaways from being in our Leaders Edge peer group.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been to two events and then I've had a couple trio meetings. And I mean, I think that like why I like the idea of peer groups and why I like this peer group is just like when I set these goals for myself and I look at, what the future looks like for my business. Like for a long time I had no frame of reference on what even growth is supposed to look like, and being able to compare notes with other people of that are where I want to go is extremely helpful. Like, and it's one of those things when I set a large goal of like this year, for example, growing by like doubling my business, like it's like, what does a $4 million company look like? And it's like, okay, well, I can look at all these different companies that are in that range or higher, and I can figure out, does that look like, and obviously every company is different, but you can kind of compare yourself to others in the sense of like what resources they have at that size, how much they should be profiting at that size, and kind of based off their service mix, like how many employees at that size, how many, like how, what's the size of that? I mean, it's endless information that I have with the guys that are in my peer group. And I also think it's it's great to talk to people that deal with the same stuff. Like obviously it's really helpful to have a conversation with somebody that literally has done exactly what I'm doing right now and been through the shows that I've been through right now. So it's like, and I mean, and then thirdly, I love business. I love business probably more than just about anyone. I love it. I just love everything about it. I love the competition. I love building. I love the people aspect. Growing people is probably my favorite thing about my business. Um, and the camaraderie that you get with the peer group and just with other people is awesome. Other people love business too, and it's hard to find them. So you get a bunch of them all in one group, all in one spot. It's pretty cool.
Did you feel like you got a warm welcome from our group, which is an existing group, and we added you to it?
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said at the meeting, like it felt like I known these guys for years and I known them for 2 days. They're definitely all super cool. I'm excited to be a part of the group, and like my whole business career the past 4 years, I've always tried to learn stuff from other people and get around people that could teach me something, and hopefully I can help them out. I can definitely help a lot of people. I know I have in the past with other people. Like it's very rewarding to give. Obviously, it's rewarding to receive too. So it's exciting.
So let's reflect back in the last 4 years, 4.5 years. What have you give us some lessons you've learned along the way that people listening can either recall and remember or plan ahead if they're
Mm-hmm.
depending if they're past you or still growing their business.
Yeah. There's a lot obviously that I've learned, like just tons. I think like first off, like how you treat people is extremely important. Like this is a people business, like no doubt about it. Like there is like obviously technology can do a lot of things, marketing can do a lot of things, but without your people, you're nothing. So, not only treating people with kindness and respect, but also finding out what they want and finding out what's going to make them choose your company is really really important. Like I love doing interviews because you get to know somebody and you get to know them from their career aspect. And I think that treating people with kindness, respect, and then also finding out what they want and hope and trying to provide that for them. So like I love to do that. There's no doubt. Other things that I've kind of learned over the course of the year, just um like one thing that's big is not spreading yourself too thin. Like I've had that every step of the way, is like you, especially last year, like you start to do something and you like from the start of starting a task, like I always say, you have to try to figure out a way to delegate it immediately. Like as you're doing something, like you should never be doing it and thinking you're the only one that's going to be doing it. So thinking with the end in mind of how am I going to train somebody to do this? Like how are we going to do it so that other people can understand what we're doing is an important one. Not spreading yourself too thin, like not trying to do too much, trying to focus on one thing at a time is a big one too. Um, yeah, I'd say those are my two biggest. One is people, and then I mean delegation also goes with people and training other people to do what you want them to do with clear
So
direction.
Matthew, how are you not spreading yourself too thin? Are you saying you've learned that and now you've got to solve it, or did you learn it along the way and solve it and already have solved it along the way?
I mean, I think it's just a natural thing that happens with business is you're gonna think that you got it all together, and then you hit the next growth button and you feel like you're spread way too thin. And you have to, like, every day you have to be thinking about how can I delegate stuff off my plate? How can I make my job easier and others' jobs easier? Like it's not like it's this one day where I woke up and I'm like, oh, I'm not spread too thin. Great. No, like it's all, there's always this constant battle of feeling like you're spread too thin. And especially, I mean, seasonality has a lot to play with it too. Like there's ramp up seasons where it feels like you're spread too thin. I know at the beginning of each year, it always feels like you're too spread too thin because you're hiring so many people, you're adding so many new customers. It's all go, like all go. You're hiring, like you're figuring stuff out as you go. And then you feel good once you hit that summer slowdown. And it's like once July comes through fall, you feel like, oh, you know what, I got this together. And then we're going to hit the grow button again at the beginning of next year. And I know for a fact it's going to happen again. I'm going to feel spread too thin again. And then I'm going to have to figure a new slew of tasks and authorities to delegate and to help people take off my plate.
So what's your growth goal for next year?
So yeah, we're just about done building the budget for 2026, and we're hoping to be at 5.5 million to 6 million.
Okay.
So good. Not quite as crazy, but yes, pretty similar growth to last year, about 2 million in revenue, and hopefully a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll look at your pricing together, I'm sure, when we get together. This is good. I liked your lesson a lot about any task I learn to master, I need to learn how I'm going to train someone else on it. I think that's a good point that you've learned and are practicing along the way. Give us one more learning point from your short but powerful journey so far in business.
Yeah. I think a tough one that I've learned is nobody is irreplaceable. Is definitely a tough one because it's like you develop these personal relationships with employees, with customers, with vendors, anybody. And sometimes as you grow a business and as you grow yourself, like the people that you need around you change. And not always does that mean they don't work for you, but like that might mean that they have a different job, whether it's, you know, staying the same job or going above, like they're going to change. So having a constant, um, realization that things are going to change all the time when you grow is a huge like thing for businesses, is like knowing that you're in a growing company is going to mean change all the time. Like that's the only thing that we can count on is change and evolution to get better. So kind of having that knowledge in your head that nobody's irreplaceable. If you build the systems right and you develop the right people, like it's hopefully plug and play. Obviously that's a hard one to grasp, but yeah.
You know, I think as you raise your margins and your pricing, which you sounds like you're going to need to do, it'll probably be easier for you to overcome any sales obstacles. But as you train your, I don't know, your first salesperson, and you're really going to have to develop some good systems and make sure that you get somebody who's not just order taking, but can sell a good product service at a price that it's worth. And so that's, you know, I don't think you've hired a salesperson yet, but at some point you will, or an account
Yeah,
manager.
we have two salespeople. They estimate for us, so they run they run new sales calls. I don't do a whole lot of new business. Um, So we have those two people. Next year, we're going to be adding a third estimator and salesperson. And then I'm hoping to add a business development person to go after some of the commercial business, and then also helping upsell with our current clientele. And then the last person on the sales team would be an account manager. We're going to be adding an account manager slash client care person to kind of help with some of the customers that we have, to not only maximize the customers that are currently using our company, but also deal with customer issues and deal with all the things that come with managing a customer.
as I recall from our peer group meeting, your pricing was sort of the same across the board. And I think one of the feedbacks I gave you was, and that others gave you, was that have, different items can fetch a different price, and have different value in the marketplace. And so I think that is going to really be a next or part of what you have to tackle as you hand off sales and scale sales. It's easy to estimate when everything has the same markup.
Mm-hmm.
But you're really gonna have to develop some systems for, value-based pricing and I'll just call it tiered pricing across your different service lines. That's something we can chat about offline.
Yeah, that was kind of another one of those aha realizations this year, was that like not every service is treated equal. Like there's definitely services that we should be charging more for, because not only is it more complicated, takes longer to estimate all of the above, we're also like paying our employees that do those services more money. So it's like one of those no-brainers. But up until this year, we never got into higher level services, like higher level enhancements and construction based services, landscape construction services. So it's kind of one of those things that you don't think of, that you need to constantly be reevaluating all of your pricing, procedures, people, everything.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So I think I think balancing speed of growth with profitability is something else that you have to look at. Better to build a very strong, stable business where you can still grow super fast, but not quite as fast as you have been growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't do one with the other. Like if you're gonna grow and not profit, like it's gonna be real challenging to grow. So you definitely have to make money. That's the goal. That's why we're in business.
So before we sign off here, any hobbies you want to share? What do you love doing
No, I
besides
don't have
business?
any. Yeah, I have a couple. Obviously, I love spending time with my wife and my family, my friends. I love to golf, love to work out. But reality is I love business. Like I love talking business. I love working business. I love meeting with my people. Like one of my favorite things is just to get together with the guys that work for me and the hopeful guys that work for me, and talk to them about their future. Like I think I have a very unique position in my life right now where I have the ability, and any leader has the ability to influence people and change their lives. So like I love mentoring people, like especially guys that work for me, and just helping them like take what they want to be and what they want to do with their life and with their career, and then figure out how I can help them do that. Is really rewarding. Like I know what it was like in 2020 when I left college and kind of just figured, where am I going? What am I doing? If it wasn't for the mentors in my life and the people that I met along the way, the consultants that I've hired, the coaches that I've had, like I wouldn't be where I am. So being able to influence others and being able to help them kind of realize their dreams and then help them achieve those is really fun, and it's an awesome spot to be in, an awesome opportunity I have here
You
at my
know,
company.
I wouldn't give up the golf if you like golf. Bring
Mhm.
clients with you, bring prospects with you, bring home builders with you,
Mhm.
You can do double duty.
Yeah, no doubt. You're always selling, so you might as well do it when you're enjoying what you're doing. So, yeah, no, it's definitely, I'm excited for the future, excited for 2026, and excited to be a part of the peer group for sure.
Yeah, we really appreciate having you. You added good value in the first meeting. That was good.
Mhm.
Uh, and so looking forward to the next meeting with you.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking forward to it too.
So thanks very much. I appreciate having you on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on. This was my first ever podcast. So I've been asked to do a podcast a handful of times, and each time I was like, no, no, but Jeffrey Scott asked you to do a podcast. I feel like I can't say no. So glad
It's
I came on and did it. And hopefully, yeah, it was good.
good. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Jeffrey.